All right. It's 9:30. Welcome everybody to the monthly Colorado meeting. Got Nikki Lucas here, who's represents the Tree Care Sector Partnership, the place setting company, and she'll be helping us to run the meeting today. We could probably go ahead and get started with introductions. We want to do just a quick round robin, and hey, if anybody's got one positive thing to share today, let's add that in there when they start. And I'll go ahead and lead off this morning. Josh Morin, the owner operator of We Love Trees, and I'm the chair of the Tree Care Sector Partnership. And my good news of the morning is my sister-in-law had a little baby boy this morning at about 2 a.m, and so on the same birthday as my daughter. So kind of a fun day today. So who's up next? I'll choose Nikki.
Hi there, I'm Nikki Lucas with the Colorado Tree Care Sector Partnership and the Place Setting Company. And I love the adding in that positive. So I will say that yesterday was my daughter's first day of school for first grade, and she was very excited.
Awesome. All right, Mike Earl, the man with the view this morning.
Welcome to my office, team. Mike Earl, owner operator, Old Growth Tree Service here in the Eagle Valley. We all got to remember that our thoughts feed our emotions that feed our thoughts. And if you have an office like this, why would you want to feed any bad thoughts?
Cool. Thanks, Mike. All right, I'm just going down the screen here. I see Megan Townsend, and Megan, I think you're a new face in here maybe. And would just like to welcome you and thank you for joining us this morning. And if you wouldn't mind going ahead and unmuting yourself and maybe just, introducing yourself, something positive, and what you're interested in attending this morning.
Sure. My name is Megan Townsend. I co-own Altitude Arborist with my husband, Hunter. And I believe he spoke to you fairly recently, Josh. So glad to see your face on here. I see a couple of other familiar faces from conferences. I believe, Mike, we've met before as well. But I finally figured out how to get information about this program. And so here I am. And I'm excited to learn more and be more involved. And a positive thing for me, I finally signed up for Todoist earlier this week, and it's my new favorite thing to organize myself digitally rather than on pen and paper.
Cool. To-do list. Is that that's an app or something?
It's called Todoist, and it's magical because it's just how I like to do my to-do list, but I don't have to carry around my giant red binder that I often forget. So if anybody wants more info, I don't have any stock in the company, but I might soon.
Cool. Awesome. Well, welcome, Megan. So glad you're here. Thanks for joining. And next, I'm going to go down to, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Colorado Ag Ed. Is that?
So my name's Emily Fickbaum. I represent Colorado Agriculture Education teachers in the state of Colorado. I replaced Mike Woe-Mitchell in July when Mike retired. So just joining based on some other feedback from other CCCS members and CWDC employees that said I should be a sponge in your sector partnership meeting. So here I am.
Cool. Well, welcome. Anything got a positive for us this morning?
My kids officially went to school, so I would kind of jump on that first day bandwagon, first, third, first, and preschool. So the house is quiet, and I really appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to having your contributions. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good experience for you. Kelly, you're up next on my screen.
Yeah, Kelly Gouge. I am the district manager for Save a Tree here in Colorado. and so oversee multiple offices here that we have. Been a part of the sector partnership for a long time, in apprenticeship and helping develop it. And so excited, keeping on and sustaining this. And my positive thing is I have my first child in college that started this week. So there's where I'm at in life. So that's pretty exciting. So
Awesome. Well, hey, congratulations. And that's exciting and scary all at the same time, right? So
that it is.
Cool. Well, thanks for being here, Kelly. Phil, you're up next on my screen.
Hi, my name is Phil Rohrbach. I work for Jefferson County Business and Workforce. I do want to thank Nikki for inviting me over to this meeting. Would love to attend these regularly and just learn a little bit more about the industry, although I have worked in it before. But more importantly, how Jefferson County can help with the apprenticeship program and help you guys get good employees. I don't have any kids, but I think my positive is going camping this weekend, which is always a good time. 11 Mile State Park. So that's just kind of by Manitou Springs, so not too far. But yeah, and it's good to see you again, Josh. Yeah, congratulations on your was it nephew?
New nephew, yeah.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, well, cool. You'll have to let us know how the camping is at that spot. And thanks for being here, Phil.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, next up, Catherine Scully. That's a familiar face. If you don't mind just introducing yourself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Catherine Scully. I'm the Assistant Director of Academic Services over at Fort Range Community College. Participated in this sector for a long time. Mostly listened, but once in a while can add something. And positive for me, my youngest child started college last week at UNC, and my oldest child graduated last spring and has a job as of today in Chicago. So I'm pretty excited.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Catherine, and thanks for being here. We really appreciate your participation. And next up on my screen, Kat Plaza.
Hello, I'm Kat Plaza, one of the statewide registered apprenticeship consultants. So I'm here to help support the apprenticeship program in its sustainability. And my positive is I think I have the oldest student on the class or on this group, as my husband is starting school tomorrow. So I'd say that's my positive, and it's always a beautiful sunshining day. So I always like to say I'm living the dream.
Nice. Well, thanks for including us in your dream, Kat, and glad you're here. Madeline Hooker, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. I'm new. I am a new hire for the Park People, which is based out of Denver, and I'm the Workforce Development Manager. So I'll be working with Lindsay we're hoping to create a pre-apprenticeship program. So looking forward to getting to know the apprenticeship program a bit better and all of you, and happy to be here. My positive thing is that this summer I was able to do my first official tree climb. That was fun.
Cool. Where'd you do that?
In Oregon. I'm actually not in Colorado currently, but I'll be moving there on Friday. So.
All right. Awesome. We'll have to get you up some Colorado trees as well. So glad you're
I would love that.
Yeah. Yeah. A friend of mine likes to say context is decisive. And so getting the context of what it feels like to be up in a tree can really inform, perspective and experience. So I fully support everybody getting up in a tree. Amanda Miller, you're next on the screen.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Josh. As mentioned, I'm Amanda Miller with the Place Setting Company. I get to work with Nikki. My positive for the day is I'm having lunch with my older sister today, and we rarely get the time for just the two of us between other family members and her kiddos and her husband, my boyfriend. So girl time today over Mexican food. So really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for helping us to stay together and stay organized, Amanda. I really appreciate your work. Glad you're here.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, Lindsay, you're up next.
Thanks, Josh. Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Cutler. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces again. It's been a few months since I was able to show up to these meetings. I think it's everybody's busy season. You know, we are so excited to still be, we're with the park people, still be developing our pre-apprenticeship program, hoping to launch it next summer. And so excited that Madeline has joined us and happy that she can meet all of you and hopefully connect offline as well to get to know the program a little bit better. Lots of positives right now. I think one thing that just brings me joy every day working from home is that we have a family of Cooper's hawks that has fledged in our backyard and are like learning how to fly and screeching all over the place and flying from tree to tree and roof and sometimes landing like at our bedroom window and steering in. So that's something that just brings me joy every day these days.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. Yeah, we were just out pruning some trees yesterday and I think we were hearing the same thing. It's like that time of year, they're all out and about. So thanks for the reminder. Up next is, I can't see your name, but it says iPad. You don't have your video on. I don't know if you know who that is, but if you mind introducing yourself. Okay, we'll come back to you and go on to Randy Grady. Good morning, Randy.
And Randy did drop a message into chat for you, Josh. So mostly listening in today, has 7-week-old daughter, Odessa.
Wow,
So
cool.
Randy is joining us as an observer today. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Randy. Congratulations on your daughter. That's awesome news. And Randy, you know, works for Treetop Plant Health, I think up north, and they have a apprentice in the apprenticeship program, and she's you know, been a great addition and contributor to our sector partnership. So glad to have you back, Randy. Good to see you. Next up, I'll go back to, I think it's Tammy. Is that you? Maybe you were the iPad.
I wasn't an iPad, but I'll certainly say hello. Oh, here we go. Here's my video. So hi there. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody today. I'm Tammy. I work with Save a Tree. I work with Kelly Gouge, and we are in the middle of a busy season.
Awesome. Cool deal. Good to have you here, Tammy. Shawna, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I will. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shawna Williams with Colorado Workforce Development Council. Good to see everyone. I work on sector partnerships across the state of Colorado. And so a lot of my work is industry-led initiatives for the Workforce Council. So one of the things that I think, I'm sorry, my camera is off. I'm actually in a garage. I have a meeting coming up, so I won't be able to attend this full meeting, but it's really dark, so you wouldn't be able to see me anyway. But one of the things that I was excited about this week is most of us, of course, are going back into the office. So we were able to go back to our office on Tuesday, and just so excited to see all my coworkers face to face. Just being able to connect with people again was just exciting for us all. And we had some pretty engaging activities and did a lot of things that were productive. So I know we still are out of the office, but it was really good to see people again. So that's what I was excited about this week.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining, Shawna. Glad you're here and appreciate all the support you've given us along the way. And then the last person I see on my screen is this 303-806-8733.
Josh, it's David Merriman with Arborist. I'll be able to attend the meeting until about 10:40, and then I gotta take off for another meeting. My positive thing is I just had my tube rock crawler test and tuned, and I'm at 800 horsepower. So I'm excited to go play with it in the mountains this weekend.
All right, sweet. We'll have fun. Enjoy that. Powerful beast is what it sounds like. Cool. Well, thanks for going through the introductions, everybody. Appreciate everyone taking the time to be here. I think that we could hop in to the agenda unless anyone has any questions or anything they want to bring up before we do that. We're good. All right. First thing on the agenda is Arborist Apprenticeships. which is a big focus of our tree care sector partnership. Typically, we hear from Lynn Vossler from Front Range. She's not here today with updates. I can go ahead and address some of the new topics that we have for Arborist Apprenticeship. And the biggest is Lynn sent out an email earlier, I think it was last week, with the tentative schedule of classes for this coming year. And so that would include, teaching for a new cohort, the second year cohort, and then the third year cohort. And I know that one of the instructors who's been with us for several years, Chris Miller, who's a great asset to our group and to the apprentices, he's really going to have to focus just on general safety this year in terms of instruction. So he won't be available for as many classes. And it highlights that we have a need for more subject matter experts that are willing to teach some of these classes. And, I'm an instructor, for several of the classes, and, it's a rewarding experience. And it's definitely something where, you can get out of it more than you put into it. So if anyone knows of people out there that have an interest or would be a good fit for teaching some of these classes, basically the classes look like they're going to run from November through March, and we have flexibility. So we're putting the call out for subject matter experts. Kelly, appreciate your engagement with that. I think sounds like possibly Ian from Save a Tree would be able to help out. Just kind of open that up, see if anybody has any questions or comments or thoughts on that. Cool deal. The next one, agenda on there is employer business interest in apprenticeships. We have a info session coming up on September 2nd from 9:30 to 11 a.m. via Zoom. Kat or anyone else, do we have any updates on that? Nikki, I don't know if you have anything there too.
Yep. The update that I have is that I set up a Zoom for that time frame, and then Kat, I'd love to I know that last month we talked about maybe involving doing a career fair style event, and I didn't know if we would do that for this day or if we should really focus that recruitment and info session on new companies who might be able to host an apprentice, and focus on a career fair as a separate event at a later date. If you could help clarify that, that would be great.
Yeah, so I think that the group consensus was to do what had been done last year, which was a multi-event. So it was employers and job seeker focused. I had thrown out another alternative solution on how to do the job seeker part. But that was really, I was really leaning on Lynn to see what involvement she was. I'm definitely available and definitely want to participate. But I'm open to doing just an employer event. It obviously depends if there's actual, job openings that will be in September and October, and when those job openings will be, if it would make sense to have the employee and apprentice part. But Josh, did you have the same takeaway I did, or did you have a different takeaway? I know you attended last year's event as well.
Yeah, I think based on the time frame and what we felt like we could organize, my understanding was we'd have it opened up to, potential apprentices that are interested in the program, and then also have companies be present as well, just to provide context. That was my understanding.
So I've not communicated this to any of our interested apprentice list. So we may want to adjust the date. I just don't feel like this is now enough notice for apprentices to come to that September 2nd date. unless other people feel differently. And Lynn, and maybe Amanda, you can add some insight to this. Lynn is in the process of retiring, and as part of that process, she can't work in the month of September.
Yeah,
and so Lynn would not be able to.
I was just going to add in, thank you for bringing that up, Nikki. Lynn did share with me yesterday, just kind of casually in conversation at another program we were attending, that her requirements are that she really unplug for the full month of September before joining as a contractor. And so she would not be able to participate on that September date. She did mention that Becky would be available to represent their team, but she personally would not be able to. She did show interest in having it still move forward as soon as possible, just so that the process can get rolling for those people who are interested, but wanted to be able to share all the moving parts with your team.
Cool. I appreciate that that update. So it sounds like Lynn's leaving Front Range, retiring from that, but might possibly still be in some circles as the contractor in the future. Is that right, Amanda?
Yes, definitely. That's my understanding. She'll retire from her position with the college system, but will then work back as a contractor.
Okay, great.
So
Well,
she's assured me she's not going anywhere as it relates to her role in partnerships.
Okay.
But just more changing structure. And I think it's one of the, please forgive me if I'm misspeaking, but maybe para doesn't allow her to even like turn on email for the month. So she'll be really unplugged for a while. Yeah.
Cool. That's great. And that's great to know, because I was sort of wondering what was going on. Lynn's been so consistent and communicative, and hadn't heard from her. So that's awesome to know she's still in the mix. And so we'll look forward to that. So it sounds like, Nikki, maybe at this point, if the meeting is next, that would be next week, right? The second, that's maybe a little late from your perspective to try to coordinate inviting people that are on that list, interested apprentices. Does anybody have any other perspective on that or thoughts before we lock that in?
And I think that I think we had worked on the timing based on, like, if a new company wanted to join, how quickly they would be able to get registered. But unless we'd be able to communicate with Lynn in the next couple of days, like even if there was someone replacing her, because I don't have all of the ins and outs of the Front Range process as far as everything that's going there, I think we'd have to move it out, because I think I personally don't feel like the subject matter expert to be able to coordinate the whole thing. I was just a participant last year. So I just want to be completely honest on, I can't put out the same quality event that she did, because it would be a different flair. And I think that if we like what happened, we should maybe stick with that. That's just my feedback.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a motion to postpone. Does anybody else have perspective or feedback on that?
Josh, what did we decide in terms of when are the first classes? I think you said earlier October, but do we have those nailed down exactly yet?
We do not. It sounds like I need to circle back with Becky now, who's really going to be the point for coordinating that. We did get some feedback from Chris, one of the instructors, and we kind of need to circle the wagons in terms of the subject matter experts, because a lot of the scheduling depends on making sure that those dates work for them as well. So that's not locked in at this point. And It sounds like that action step needs to happen.
Yeah. I think but if we keep pushing, then if we have prospective employers, that's not going to be helpful, right? That'll give them a dwindling time frame to actually get the apprenticeship started and signed up. But we got to do what we got to do. I mean,
I think it would make sense to keep the date for prospective employers. I think that, Megan, someone like yourself that, might have heard about, what we're doing, is curious about it, might not know, and wants to understand. Mike, you're new to the group, and it gives us an opportunity as employers to talk about this and just orient around it. And so if we don't put a call out to prospective apprentices, I think that probably sounds like it's the best use of time. And if we don't get a lot of participation or representation, we don't have to run it for very long. I know in my experience, a lot of times answering questions and discussing some of those topics can work really well on a one-on-one basis. So why don't we, maybe Kat, I could take your suggestion. Why don't we just say, in alignment with what Nikki's understanding is, let's just plan on an employer call, to talk about apprenticeship, and see how many people we could, potential employers we could get on that call. Maybe Nikki, I can talk to you about, drafting that email as a, just to try to get as much participation as possible and interest as possible. Cool. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Cool. Interested. I'm just kind of moving down the agenda here. Nikki, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about, next we have on there volunteers to serve as Arborist ambassadors, and then the interested apprenticeship list available to employers.
Sure. So the volunteer Arborist ambassador is just a reminder that we do have kind of a volunteer position, that when certain students or people reach out who are interested and they need more of they're requesting more of an outreach, maybe they want to shadow a site or want to have a conversation versus just, I send them the videos, I send them an overview. If they need a little bit more, that position basically gives them an insider conversation, and potentially when it's safe and comfortable that they could, shadow a job site, something like that. So that's just a reminder that we are looking for a list. We do have a couple great people on that list already. And I think just as school starts, a lot of those outreach from school counselors will be happening, and that's usually when the requests come through. So you can put in chat if you'd like to be added to that list, or at any time send an email to the cotreecarepartnership@gmail.com, and we greatly appreciate that. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It's usually just a quick phone call or Zoom.
Yeah.
And then the next one was oh, sorry.
Is that geared toward high school students? Is that
it does usually end up being high school students, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can just speak to my experience within the last month. I haven't gotten any requests in terms of high school students, but I've had 3 inquiries from people interested in the apprenticeship program that emailed directly and actually sent resumes or cover letters along with that, and followed up with them in terms of just, spending some time on the phone to tell them about apprenticeship and help them understand. One guy was coming out of being a motorcycle mechanic for 15 years, and actually invited him out to a job site to see what we do. I know he talked with some other, I think he talked with Arbor Tech as well, just to orient around getting into the field. I had another woman that has made an exit from her, career path and has started to get into arboriculture. And then there's another guy that was on the call last year that was interested in arborist apprenticeship, and he's moving from Wisconsin to the Front Range area in October. So there's definitely some activity, and I see it as, if you're, interested in recruiting and want to make sure to avail yourself of anybody that might be a good fit for your company, it's a good thing to do, is just to get on that list. So just kind of a numbers game too, you know, you have, and you know, eventually you'll probably hit on somebody with a good call.
Good ad. That was good. The next item is about that the list of people who have contacted Front Range or our partnership saying that they're interested in the Arborist Apprenticeship program. That is available for you guys to view in the case that you are searching for an employee and or an apprentice and wanted to directly do an outreach to those people. And, you know, if they say they're in a specific area and kind of just instead of them coming to you, you go to them if you have a need, and they've reached out. So I will put that in the email with the minutes, and then in just a second, I'll put it in the chat of that document location. You have access to it. And then we essentially, when an apprentice signs up through Front Range, we'll take them off the list. So if you see somebody that you hire on the list, let me know and I can take them off as well.
Yeah, I'm curious, is anybody, Tammy or anybody else on the call, been able to reach out to those folks? It seems like, from my perspective, that's a list that you know, all of us should be taking advantage of, just to even, you know, ping people and see if they're a potential fit for their company. You know, I took a look at that list this morning, and it looks like there's some recent requests on there from maybe last week or August 12th or 13th. So there's some people on there that you know, if you are interested in trying to find some people for your company to reach out to. So just as a reminder, check out that list.
Is that list available to those who are not fully signed up as apprenticeship providers as well? I mean, we're certainly interested. We just don't have all the info. Okay.
Yeah, from my perspective, if you're participating in the sector partnership, you should take advantage of that list. And these are people that, you know, the first step in apprenticeship is getting an employee, you know, that's interested in it. So even if you don't have it in place, you can still have conversations with those folks. You could still interview them, see if they're a good fit for your company. So, you know, our mission as the sector partnership is to help solve our workforce issues for our industry. And, you know, if you're a tree care company, you know, you're in our industry, and, you know, we want to be providing solutions to help, you know, meet your workforce needs. So yes, please.
Thanks.
All right. Anybody have anything else there on the ambassadors or the list of interested potential apprentices? Cool. Next thing on the agenda there is just the Apprenticeship Scholarship. I don't know if you have any updates for us on that, Kat.
So there is a $500 scholarship that is available to any of the newer apprentices, and that's available through the workforce centers. I believe that flyer, I can send it over again if it's necessary, or there's a web page. I'll check and see if I can put it in the link after the presentation, after I'm done talking here. I just sent it to the sector partnership email. There is an opportunity, and if Shawna's on the call yet, she might have more information. Sorry, if I look down, I'm just looking at my the email. It is Upskilling, Reskilling, and Next Skilling Workers Grant. The application deadline has been extended to September 10th. On August 30th, they are going to be adding additional credentials, and we are expecting registered apprenticeship to be added to that list. So this is a grant that can be applied for, and sector partnerships do qualify. So that is just something that, once again, that was just sent I just sent it forwarded it this morning to the sector partnership email. I'm not sure if you guys had seen that already or not. And Shawna, I don't know if you're still on the call or if somebody else from CWDC has more information that might be helpful. on how those funds could be used? And sorry, I kind of covered two things there.
Yes, you did. And so a little bit of just about the upscaling grant. It can be used for the work that you guys are already doing. It doesn't come into conflict with any of the grants that you may currently have with CWDC. But I believe that if you are working on especially apprenticeship work primarily, a lot of the funding is going to skilling and upskilling, workforce development. And so it is a grant process. So it is part of the process is your budget narrative, of course, your scope of work. I'm working with a couple of partnerships that are trying to put their grant together by the deadline. I can't give too much information, but I can definitely help with any questions that you might have around the grant. We did streamline it to make it easy for sector partnerships to apply, especially those that are currently receiving a grant. So if you currently have information already that has been uploaded into our Salesforce system, I can definitely share that information with you. Amanda, you may not have it, but I can definitely share that with you if you'd like. But there is still a requirement of signatures. So you do need the support of workforce development and economic development and education. So you do need those partners to validate, I guess, the scope of work for you. But all of those, you are correct, it is extended until September 10th. And I believe September 10th, end of business day.
Cool. Thanks for that, Shawna. It sounds like that's something that we'd be interested in at least pursuing, for our sector partnership. I don't know, Nikki and Amanda, if you have any, thoughts or perspective on that.
Oh, really quickly, one more thing is these are flexible funds. These are probably the most flexible funds that I have seen come across CWDC. So when you're saying, do we, need to look at wages to reimbursement? Yes. So these are really flexible. So I would, as a partnership, definitely consider looking at applying for this grant.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Shawna. That's great. I think, just as a orientation for everybody that's on the call or new to the call, one of the pain points that we hear around our apprenticeship program is just the cost of delivering the education. And so we're looking for solutions for that. It's the 2 points is just the cost, that the employer has been paying, and then the downtime for the employee, the paid downtime for the employee as well. So, anything we can do to pursue funding sources. I know this is towards the sector partnership, but we want to keep looking for those. So I don't know if this will line up, but I think we should pursue it. Cool.
I can't be responsible for the writing of it because of my role, but within my role, I can absolutely be on a small group if there's anything that I can provide with registered apprenticeship information from the state level or from anything else that I can provide. So I just want to volunteer to be on that committee.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. Nikki and Amanda, do we have the bandwidth to pursue it?
Can you share the deadline again for that submittal? Sorry if I missed that.
It's September 10th.
So I think if we can get commitment to really dive into it right following Labor Day, Josh, we would need some support from your end. Kat, thank you for offering to help. I'm kind of looking at Nikki. This is that moment when if we would be in a conference room, I would look at Nikki and be able to gauge her. On Zoom, I think it's different, but it seems like something we should definitely pursue. And we'll do what we can to help pull all the pieces together.
Yep, I can help and submit, and I think as long as we have a little bit of support with what that looks like and what we should request money for, specifically, but it does sound supporting the tuition dollars, since the employers pay for that. That does sound like a target that should be included for sure.
All right, awesome. Appreciate you guys being willing to discuss that on the fly and look at that opportunity. And so it sounds like we'll circle back on that and make sure we have a good plan in place. Cool. Next item on the agenda is, the sector partnership exists to really work together as an industry to address a lot of our workforce needs and challenges. So we want to make sure that we give everyone who's on the call an opportunity to voice any of those needs. So, I'd be curious to hear from other companies. I don't know if Dave Merriman's still on the call. Mike Earl, you're here. Kelly, Megan, anybody else that I might have missed, Randy, just a call out there, like, where do you need help? Today, tomorrow, yesterday, where are you looking for solutions? Just anything that you could share, just kind of throw that out there. This is the time to kind of speak that, for your business, what are your needs for workforce? Where are you having challenges, meeting those needs, things like that.
Well, I'm certainly happy to speak up.
Right.
So, I was reminded about the apprenticeship program very recently because we are searching for, 1 to 2 new crew members because we are growing, which is great. Our biggest challenge is finding qualified applicants who are here. We have had, we actually broadened our search to, all of Colorado, which got us some applicants from around Colorado and also out of state who may want to move here. But just, we had 2 people we thought were really great, set them up for working interviews. They both ended up backing out because of, they just really decided they wouldn't be able to move here. And so that's been our greatest challenge. Is there are lots of people down south. We're in Broomfield, in case anyone was wondering where we are. Lots of people down south looking for jobs. Turns out not a lot of people right here looking for jobs. And for us, our goal, and so I'm loving this group because our goal is to really make sure that people who come to work for us understand this is a career. It's not just a job, and to be able to train them up from ground level to wherever they want to go in the industry is really how we want to foster our crews. So people get really excited about it. Just I haven't found a lot of local people who are really excited about that.
Yeah, that sounds very familiar, Megan, and I really appreciate you sharing that. It sounds like you're looking for access to people, like a funnel of people, a pool of people who are interested in our career path, interested in being, production arborists, and who are local, right? So it sounds like you are getting people that are interested in the possibility of coming to work in Colorado, but the amount of steps that need to happen for someone out of state to actually end up working at your company, like statistically, it seems like you're needing, access to people that are a little more turnkey. And so that's great. I think that gives us, we can make sure that we're trying to address that in terms of who we're targeting and be happy to have a conversation with you to understand those needs a little more. And then we can direct our activities, as a sector partnership to make sure that we're addressing that. So thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. Anybody else on there? Mike, David, Kelly, I don't know, what are the realities out there? What are you guys experiencing? What do you need help with?
Josh, I think that it's a much larger discussion as a business owner and a man of promise. We've grown 30 employees in 5 years, and our retention rate is really high. But the demand is higher than the retention rate. And as the Colorado area, the I-25 corridor begins to feel more and more like I-5 on the West Coast, or the mountain communities continue to go more towards second, third, fourth homeowners that are now living here full time. The demand's only going to get larger, and the housing crises are only going to get harder for employees. So becoming creative in our worlds to one, position the business to be able to create the revenue and income to be able to keep employees on year round and give them the benefits and let them understand the type of money that can be made inside of the tree community. I mean, I'll speak frank here real quick. I've got a couple, I have a business partner, but we have employees on staff that are career arborists that make more money than here I will ever make, in a weekly paycheck, you know what I mean? And that's out of choice because we've recruited great people. And I think moving forward, the youth, so I came from a vocational high school that I could do everything I ever wanted to do, from wood shop, machine shop, CAD, cooking.
You're muted, Mike.
Sorry guys, I got another call coming in, but long story short, I want to be able to bring that apprenticeship program to Eagle County, to the Western Slope, to be able to tap into the resources of local kids growing up that can see this as a trade. When we're competing with framers that are making $25, $26, $27 an hour on year-round employment because there's no more of a construction season up here, it's year-round. I want to present that to upcoming employees that are graduating high school.
Cool. Excellent. I heard a number of things there. One was, the challenges with housing, for potential employees, and that was also within what you were saying, Megan, as well, right? Which is a big part of this when people look at actually moving out. Brian, one of the interested people that found Arborist Apprenticeship that I talked to, came out to a job site, was interested in, switching his career path. And, and he asked about what's the starting wage, and he's someone that was like, 40, right? So he's looking at shifting careers. And so the starting wage is definitely an issue, and especially as it relates to housing. And he ended up sending me a message and said, hey, listen, I'm going to head back to Ohio because I have a lower cost of living there, and that's a great place for me to start my career. So cost of living definitely sounds like, that's something we want to address. And then, wages and being attractive to, our future workforce, which are people that are currently in high school, that are aligned with this work, and how do we get them, how do you get access to them, and how do you get them into your company and show them that there is this opportunity, this career path. And so that sounds like, there's a number of things there. So that's great, Mike. Really appreciate you sharing that. I don't know if you have anything else.
I think from the standpoint of not only the trade of arboriculture and the years that it takes to be able to feel like you're working in a safe environment with a safe group of brothers and sisters that are on the job site. There's so much safety that goes involved. And a lot of these skills are not only the technical skills of the job, but also the EQ skills and the stewardship that we can do as adults to those individuals that are coming out of school, because a lot of people don't mature at a rate that puts them in safe situations at those ages. So the earlier you can get with individuals, maybe those traits are still malleable and coachable through their teens and early 20s.
I love that, Mike. We actually just participated in a career day at our kids' school. It was for 7th through 12th graders. And I kind of pushed my way in there. They were having an environmental career day. And I said, hey, how about us? And one of the kids asked, well, do you have internships? And can we shadow? So I love that you guys have that Arborist Ambassador program. I think, fleshing that out into something where we can partner with area schools, wherever our area is, to say, hey, we have somebody who can come talk to, the kids in the school about our trade. I actually I'm in a BNI group, a business networking group, and one of the folks in our group, she owns a plumbing and HVAC company. She's getting ready to start a nonprofit to have, kids be able to come to their place or different areas to start learning some of the skills. And that would definitely include safety, right, Mike? Just some of those hard and soft skills to really help funnel them into these professions that are so needed and valuable, and we're losing people, we're just hemorrhaging them to careers they might not actually be suited for.
The whole thing there with the soft skills, and like as early as you can start to be an influencer. I mean, you think about the industry and nutrition and industrial athletes and, people coming out of school that just want to do the physical things to feed their bodies correctly. Most of the kids that come in here are still pounding Red Bulls and, can't tie their own boots. And so it's like, just being a mentor and like sitting down with them at lunch and, I'm coaching my foreman every day. Did so-and-so bring enough water? Did they actually eat lunch today? I mean, that's the type of stuff we talk about every day on the jobs. Did you wear your sunscreen?
Hey, this is great dialogue. I really appreciate the what you're bringing out into the light there, Mike and Megan. And it's great to hear. And I heard a couple things there too, like with access to these programs that are going on at different schools to make sure that you're getting access and being part of that conversation. I also heard this possibility of internships. I know in my experience, I've had interns at a couple companies I've worked for before, and setting up that program. And I know that within this sector partnership, there's also resources with your local workforce representatives. When I was with Taddock and Tree Company, we had we brought in interns through the workforce center, which they helped us screen them, interview them, and then they were brought in and actually their pay and their insurance was all covered as part of this internship, because we were helping them to build some job skills. So that's something that you can get access to, and that would be great to at least put you in touch with those people so you can explore those options for your companies as well.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you guys. So it's 10:25. We have oh, go ahead.
Josh, this is David with Arborist.
Yep.
There's one field that we are missing, and I just did 2 government bids. And apparently for some of the government bids, they are now requiring document training for your bucket operators. And so this is the first time that I ever had to come up with that. So, first thing I do is I type in Google, and like equipment operators, they have their own training, and all other trades have their own training that is approved through OSHA or somebody. We do not have any training like that for a bucket truck. So therefore, I had to document everything that I've done, submit it to them, have them shoot it down because I didn't hit certain government requirements of a school certificate or something like that. So besides this Arborist Apprentice, and the, let's see, module 4 or 5 of year 2, we have the bucket training. If we could start coming up with a certificate of when they finish that they have this certificate of training, that is going to make it more appealing for an employer who bids on government work, because now you have this person who is certified in running a bucket through doing this. So if we could come up with something similar to that, it would make it a little easier for like some people are going after government contracts, because this is going to be a thing that comes more and more common for that.
That's awesome, Dave. So it's some real boots on the ground realities for your business in terms of training needs and documentation that's being driven from the contract side, from the government side of that. It sounds like there's an opportunity for us to make sure we're highlighting and and sharing like that certificate of completion, and maybe even going back to TCIA, who puts the framework of those trainings together, and making sure that the documentation from going through like either the Tree Care Academy modules or the modules within Arborist Apprenticeship, that they line up and meet the criteria that the government contracts are working for. So maybe it's something we can make sure that we're highlighting in terms of saying, hey, this is why apprenticeship is lines up with some of your needs if you're pursuing government contracts. And then maybe we can also look at a solution by bringing that information that you have back to TCIA, because I know that they're working on a whole online curriculum and doing these modules online, so that it's easier for companies to document exactly what you're experiencing. So that's great.
It's
Or
possible.
you could do some.
Go ahead.
We could do something like where we could offer maybe this training to the general public. So say a company doesn't want to have an apprentice, but he needs this certificate, so he could come to the Colorado Tree Care and maybe pay whoever the instructor is or that to help them go through all the paperwork, get everything documented. That way it could bring more money into here, but it also brings more name recognition and more everything, where if you need it, you come here so we can get you trained.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I like that idea. And I don't, I think that that's definitely something. What occurs to me is, as we look, we're going to be doing some strategic planning for the sector partnership coming up. And as we look at that strategic planning and some of the solutions that we're hoping to focus on, I think that needs to be on the list, as well as how can we make sure that we're providing access to these trainings in the hopes of pulling more people into that funnel of the work that we're doing to train. Megan, I don't know if you had anything that you needed to say.
Just it may be interesting to bring Aiden into a conversation, with TCIA, because I know they're doing a lot of work, obviously, with the OSHA stuff, and they may have some contacts, just with some of the work that they're already doing to help us gear any specific training to what government agencies may be looking for. May have some insight there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think bringing him in, I know Lynn and myself in the past, we had like a standing call we were doing with Bob Rouse from TCIA, talking about curriculum development. And so it'd be good to circle back, maybe bring Aiden in or Bob. And I think they have they've expanded their staff to work on curriculum development. So definitely this aligns with them as well. I know we're actually over our time right now. And I really appreciate everybody's participation, especially the companies, in terms of sharing your needs. I think that's at the core of it, that's why we're here. So it's important that we're able to capture that. I know, just looking through some of these updates, we do have a strategic planning session that we're working on towards the end of September. We're hoping to get on that. And then I also wanted to make sure we provided an opportunity. I know that the Denver Metro Urban Forestry Workforce Expansion Project, that report, didn't know if if Lindsay or any of your folks had any comment.
Thanks for asking, Josh. I'm sure you're on Brett's emails as well. There's nothing financially that's come out of that expansion project. I know we're looking for someone to sort of like an organization that can kind of house it, if that makes sense, to be a clearinghouse for information. So we've been talking with Colorado State Forest Service to see if they might be a good place to kind of center that work. We're really encouraged by the project and are just encouraged also by some funding locally through the Climate Protection Fund that is dedicated to workforce. So I think the groundwork is laid that we can be paying participants, paying trainees, pre-apprentices, apprentices, and really getting that shovel-ready workforce together. I'd love to connect with people. There's different pathways for getting into high schools, working with youth, with different organizations around town, not just the park people, but also Groundwork Denver, Mile High Youth Corps. There's just a lot of momentum and opportunity to really connect with youth that are interested in outdoor careers, environmental careers, careers in tree care. And then we're also, our pre-apprenticeship is really a great place to funnel people that are interested in those shadow days or internships, because we really are designing it as a career exploration project. It'll be an 8-week summer program to begin with, hopefully expanding to be a year-round kind of quarterly option. So if you are encountering people that are interested in those style internships, please do send them our way. We won't have, an actual opportunity till next summer, but we are interested in talking with them. We're partnering with Surround Services, so we'll be offering soft skills training, resume building, internship skills, connecting with tree care companies for shadow days, safety training, buckets, ropes, those sort of things that we can't offer in-house. So we do just have, there's a lot going on locally and a lot of ways that I think that we can plug into some of the employer needs that I was hearing. And also I put it in the chat too. I'm interested in hearing more from employers about their fair chance hiring practices, any questions, concerns, or standards surrounding that, because there's a lot of interest from those just as involved for careers in tree care. And I think that could be another way to widen the funnel and attract people that, may be perfectly suited for a career in the trees.
Cool. Thank you for speaking to that and sharing an update about that, Lindsay. And I would just say anybody, Nikki, I know you got the email from Brett. I think it would be great to talk about, sending that out to, to everyone that's on the list for Colorado Tree Care Sector Partnership. Just to the more people that are aware about that, it really lines up with expanding the urban forestry workforce, right? And that's really, what we're hoping to achieve here too. Cool. Does anybody have anything else? I know we're over time.
Two quick things on the 2 CWDC items on the agenda. The first was that I participated in the statewide call on July 27th, and I will put most of the notes in the minutes, but just a quick overview. They talked about the results of the response results from the Bridging the Talent Gap survey. And they had 400 people respond, and all of the surveys that the CWDC puts out there really fuel their efforts, where they focus their efforts, and then that one in particular fuels kind of where the talent needs of Colorado are. So the one that is upcoming is the Business Impact Survey, and I'll send that out today or tomorrow, and that is due on August 31st. And it's a brief survey, but they are asking us to at least get 7 businesses to participate in that. And again, it fuels their knowledge and fuels their efforts as they are working on funding and support. The other thing that that call focused on was the summary of the climber loan. So I'll put some notes from that in the chat, and again, I'll have it in the minutes. But that one is essentially a recovery loan program from COVID-19. So if anybody is in need of support in that way, we'll share those resources again in a minute. And then that business impact survey, if I could just get a few people to commit to filling that survey from their business's perspective, that would be wonderful. And that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nikki. And I'd encourage everybody that's on the call today to that every one of the businesses that's on the call to fill out that survey. I think anything you can do to get your reality heard by the state, is a good effort. So yeah, just second that. Thanks for your work attending those calls and doing the legwork there, Nikki. Yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up for us, and appreciate everybody's time on the call. And thanks for being here and participating today.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks,
Hey,
place
thanks,
setting
Josh.
team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Josh.
you. This was very helpful today. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for
Have a
joining.
great rest of your Thursday.